Hey guys, welcome. What's going on? Today we've got Tiago. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you taking out the time to jump on this podcast. So for the listeners who don't know you and really want to get to know you, how would you describe yourself as a full-time trader?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Tiago. Well, basically, like I just keep one main account for the funds I'm managing. So that's the main account that I worry about. And then for my side business, which is the funded trader blueprint, I try to buy multiple prop firm accounts and then just like kind of review them. I try to withdraw money so I can focus on the review aspect to let people know which prop firms they should buy or they should not buy. So yeah, but my main focus is definitely the private funds that I'm managing.
Absolutely. I know you come to the table with a lot of experience. You've been trading for over 12 years, so you're pretty serious in the journey right now. So take me to the beginning. What drew you into trading initially?
Yeah, so I'm 28 right now. I started when I was 16. I was in Florida at the time, I think. Yeah, I was in Florida. Ever since I was like 13, 14, I've always like thought about like how can I make money for myself like without having to work. Like I was very lazy in school, like I didn't want to study. I was like, yeah, this is not for me. I'm not going to become a doctor. I'm not going to become an engineer. I need to find a way to make money. When I was 14, I started drop shipping. I opened like 20 stores. I created a website. I invested in marketing. All of these like drop shipping stuff did not work out. It didn't work out. Like the most I made in the store was like $1,000, $2,000. And then I found out about trading. So I started trading with like 500. Like I used to work in a coffee shop at the time in Florida. I used to put like 500 at a time, 1,000, and I used to like blow it all the time, like blow it, like everyone when we started, And yeah, and I kept going, and it was when I was like 20 that I started to become consistent with, not losing money.
Right, right. And how much money do you think you had to go through to really learn a lot of those hard lessons?
Probably like 30K.
30K. I mean, these are the dues we have to pay. I mean, we're all pretty much around those lines, especially before prop firms. I can imagine people are blowing a lot more than what was going on back then because some of these prop firms can be quite expensive. I mean, before we jump into the whole prop firms and what you've really learned and what sort of advice you really give people going into them, I know that you have a background and you played basketball, professional basketball in Portugal. Now, that sounds absolutely incredible. How did that competitive, high pressure background shape you? And when you approached trading, how did that did it work for you or did it kind of put more pressure on you? Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, basketball definitely helps because when I started playing basketball, I started when I was like 7, 8, whatever. And I started playing for Portugal when I was like 12. And I was very nervous. Like I was a very nervous athlete. I had anxiety performance, which means that every time I played in big stages, like I would get shaky and nervous. And I had no other way but to fight against it. So like, the fact that I had to overcome anxiety performance, it helped me a lot for like anxiety in general in life. So anything that was like performance related, so like it could be trading, it could be like interviews, like whatever makes people nervous normally. Basketball helped me a lot because I was put through that position since I was young. So when I was like 13, 14, 15, I had overcome that. I had anxiety, which I didn't know it was anxiety at the time because anxiety is like a common thing now, but back in the day it wasn't common. So yeah, basketball did help a lot in terms of overcoming anxiety in general.
And I know you played at a national level, so that requires extreme mental resilience. So what specific mental skills from basketball were you able to translate into your trading?
What specific mental skills? Mostly resilience, like the fact that things aren't gonna go your way most of the times. There's people better than you, and you have to overcome the fact that you have to work harder than those people. So just the fact that things aren't gonna be handed to you, especially in like sports, things aren't gonna be handed to you, and it's the same in trading. Like if you don't put in the work, if you don't overcome those battles by yourself, you're not gonna make it. To a person that just came into trading,
Let's say a bit of both. Like, just let's start with just came into trading and they have a basketball background. Is there anything that you would give them as a piece of advice?
definitely, sports are very important for your mental health. And it will help you in most of your mental battles through your life. And trading is a mental battle. Trading will always be a mental battle, no matter like how long you've been trading for, no matter if you're very experienced, if you trade in an institutional level. It's very stressful. It will always be very stressful. It doesn't matter if you risk 1% or 0.5%. It will always be stressful because you're playing with your money. Playing any type of sports, not only basketball, it will help you manage that stress and understand that, you have time for trading, and when you need to release your mind, you got sports.
Right, right. And was there a specific moment in your journey where you were transitioning into trading where you realized it wasn't all about the technical skill?
Definitely. I also studied psychology in college. I took a psychology course. It's right now I can tell you that trading is 90% psychology. You need to understand that there's a lot of things you need to understand in terms of psychology. But when you understand that trading is about like capital preservation and not like about like I need to make 1,000 tomorrow, or I need to make 2,000. When you understand that it's more important to protect your money, and protecting your money comes from risk management. But for you to be able to do risk management properly, you need to be aware that psychologically you need to, how do I say this? You need to be mentally strong enough to controlling risk management. When people start making money with the low risk management, they get attached to the feeling, to the dopamine hit of making a lot of money. So when you understand that dopamine is not a healthy type of dopamine, like, yeah, I made 10,000, but now I can, but next you're gonna risk more, and then you're gonna end up losing more. So that dopamine has to be controlled.
Right, right. And how do you control that dopamine when it hits you?
Well, a lot of blown accounts back in the day.
Right, right.
a
So
lot of
experience.
Yeah, a lot of money spent, a lot of so I just that you just have to control yourself.
Do you think that that experience is essential for every trader, or do you think that that experience is transferable and you could, for example, teach that to somebody so they could avoid making those mistakes, or does it depend on the trader?
You can teach a lot of things to new traders, especially if you're like somebody that worries about people. You want to help people, trading and all that. All the mentors out there, but you can't teach experience. You can't teach the fact that you can teach somebody how to read a market, but you can't teach how to react to a market, because that comes with experience. You need to. So all the mentors out there, they're I'm gonna make you a great trader. You're gonna be able to understand the markets. It doesn't work like that. You can teach the basics. You can teach how to. A lot of things about trading are based on intuition, right? And intuition comes with the time that you took trading and the time that you took to read charts. So that's not teachable.
Right, absolutely. I mean, look, you've been in the game for a long time. You've been in over 12 years. So I know you mentioned outside of this call that you were in a trading community a year ago. You went off the radar. What happened? Why did you take a step back to only take a big step forward? Why did you do that?
Yeah, so I decided to, I was getting some traction like 2 years ago. I decided to create a trading community on Discord, and I got over like 500 people in 1 2 days. But then I realized that people like weren't really interested in learning. They wanted like to see what I was trading live. I was trading live at the time. I'm actually gonna start trading live on YouTube eventually this month probably. But yeah, people were more interested in like copying signals and seeing the trades that I was taking than actually learning from me. Like my point was to like teach people, interact, create a community, and people just want to like copy my trades, make money. I don't know. It wasn't like what I was looking for. It wasn't motivating for me. So I was just like, yeah, this is not what I want to do. I want to do something like I want to be different from the other people that are in the trading community. Otherwise, I could have just, go to Dubai, rent a Lamborghini, post a Lamborghini on my Instagram. I don't even have Instagram. Like I don't have Instagram, personal Instagram. I have the company's Instagram, you know.
Absolutely.
But
I
yeah, I wanna
appreciate
I wanna make something different, but it's hard to find a way to show reliability and show transparency, because the trading niche is it's so like people have a very wrong idea of the trading niche, and these influencers aren't helping either. So it's hard to come out as a good mentor.
absolutely. I mean, look, that's a solid reason for why you took a step back, but why are you back now? What's the difference? What's your approach this time?
Well, I was invited to your podcast, and I was like, why not? Why not start? Maybe I can get like some people that want to believe in me and want to see what's
No,
going on.
absolutely. I mean, look, there's going to be a lot of people watching these podcasts, and at the end of the day, they are looking for somebody they can connect with. So, I mean, if there was a trader who came to you and he just said, "Look, I want to learn how to trade, but why should I come to you, Tiago?" What would you tell that trader?
Well, first, my results. My results are, I have not yet seen anyone with the results that I have on prop firms. I'm number one in Portugal on the Fivers withdrawals. I was number two for November in the world. So I got some crazy results. So that's the reason number one. I got the results. I can prove the results. Number two is I actually care. Like I actually I want to have the pleasure of like creating like a person that I see, yeah, I made this person. Like I helped this person. make money. Like I feel like that's very satisfactory, you know, like so I want to experience that on a higher level. Like I want to have a group of people that I can look at them and be like, yeah, I helped these people like buy a house or you know buy a I don't know, just I just want to feel I've always loved help people. I know this may sound cliche, but it's very satisfying when you know when we help people. It's very satisfying, and this is something that I do very well, trading. So it's the one way I see that I can help people on a higher level.
Right, brilliant. And before we go into like your identity as a trader, what I'll do is I'll pop a little description in the. I'll pop a link in the description to your Discord that you would have created by now. So people who are interested just to check it out or want to kind of look at an insight to what's going on with Tiago, you can check the link in the description. So Tiago, do you consider yourself naturally disciplined, or was there something you had to build for yourself to become a disciplined trader? Because I know a lot of traders, they struggle with discipline. So how did you kind of build that for yourself?
Yeah, I was never a natural discipline, to be honest. This was something that I built. Oh, even when I was younger, like going to school and all that, I was you know, I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to go out of bed. So I was like 14, you know. So yeah, I always had trouble. Like it's not like I was a bad boy or whatever. I was always a responsible person. Just like in terms of like you know doing the simple things at home with my parents or whatever, like laundry or you know this simple stuff. Like it might seem like it doesn't matter, but it does shape us. Like it does shape like what are we doing? Like are we responsible? Do we make our bed when we wake up? You know, do we go to the groceries when we should? Like all this stuff, it does when we grow older, we notice that it does matter, you know. So yeah, I was never that person, and I'm not saying that now I meditate like before trading. I write a journal. I don't do any of that. You know, I'm a simple person. I wake up, I look at the charts, and I trade. The only thing that changed is that I now understand that this is the way that this is my income. You know, this is how I'm gonna feed my family. So I either do this or my family doesn't eat. You know, it's not that severe. It's not that extreme. I'm just putting it out there like as a comparison. It's what I do. So now there's no way. There's no going back. So either I have that discipline or my life is a failure. So there's no in between.
Hey guys, quick pause in today's podcast. I want to introduce you to today's sponsor, which is Get Leveraged. Get Leveraged is a prop firm built by traders for traders, and their mission is simple: identify talent and reward them with capital. Now here's where it gets interesting. If you use the code ML05 at the checkout, you'll get a discount on the challenge fee, but more importantly, you'll be enrolled into a lifetime trading league. What that means, you'll be permanently eligible for every single giveaway, milestone reward, major raffles, which means fully paid assessments, challenge resets, even funded account packages and monetary prizes. And get this, their turbo challenge starts at $8.88, so you can get funded to up to 150k. That's insane value. Link and code is in the description. So let's get back to the episode.
I think that bounces back off your experiences. Like, you know what you don't want to be. So your belief system in being successful is very strong. So, I mean, is there anything internally about yourself that you had to change to allow success to come into your life? Because a lot of people have a bad relationship with money. People didn't grow up with money listening to this podcast. So, you know, at the end of the day, a lot of people who are coming into trading want to make a lot of money. What did you have to do to start allowing success to come into your life? Because I know you said you burnt a lot of accounts, you lost a lot of money. There had to be some sort of shift that you started being like, no, I can do this. I am going to start making money. And I'm sure that discipline came into that as well. So was there anything in particular?
Yeah, there was one time when I was 21. After I had become consistent, I was consistent, like semi consistent. I lost a trading account worth 77 k dollars. That was my biggest loss ever, and that made me like take a big step back because I was like, okay, I was consistent. Like, how did this happen? Like, it wasn't an all in. It wasn't like 100% of my account, but it was a big hit. It was a big hit. And then I had to take a step back because I was like, okay, I thought I knew everything, but I don't know anything. I don't know everything. So that made me understand that we're always learning in the trading niche. It doesn't matter how experienced you are. It doesn't matter if you're Bill Gates, if you're Warren Buffett. You know, there might happen something that will make you take a step back and realize that, you know, maybe you need to take a step back. You know, calm down a little bit and understand that it's not all flowers and gardens. So yes, definitely a big hit in my account was the moment where I realized that, you know, I need to reevaluate myself, be more humble. I'm not on the top of the world, and take it slower.
Absolutely. And look, Tiago, I know you have some big achievements, you know, top trader, second best or second highest withdrawal with the fivers. So obviously achieving these things is not easy. A lot of people aspire to be on top of these competition boards and so forth. Did you ever go through anything like imposter syndrome after hitting the milestone? Did that pressure ever hit you?
No, I did it 2 months in a row, and the only reason I didn't do it in the third month was because I got risk limited and leverage limited. So yeah, before I went to on these prop firm models, I was already very consistent in the live accounts. So these kind of withdrawals were consistent in live accounts. So I heard about prop. I didn't know at the time what prop firms were. I learned in 2022, 23, and I was like, and somebody told me you should try prop firms, and I'm like, wait, you can spend 500 and make this amount of money. I'm like, there's no way, that's impossible, because with my skill level, they're gonna go bankrupt. There's no way we can do that. And I bought so I did a lot of research, FTMO, Fivers, all of that, and I decided to buy Fivers. I don't remember why I bought Fivers and not FTMO, to be honest. I think I liked the conditions more. The price was cheaper at the time. And there was no rule. There were rules, but there was no like limitation. There was no like consistency rules. And I'm like, this is impossible. There's no way. So I passed the 2 challenges, and then I was given the account, and I was freely to trade. The only thing I couldn't lose 10%, 10% overall. I couldn't lose 3%. The basic rules. I'm like, okay, that sounds easy. With my strategy is like a very very tight stop loss. So like
Mhm.
I don't risk. I risk a lot, but the risk is calculated. So I started making a lot of money, like 20K, 30K, 30K. And I was like, there's no way they're going to pay me. And I was posting these results on Reddit at the time. And people were like, yeah, they're not going to pay you. They're not going to pay you. And the payment hit. Like, I got 30K. The first month I got 30K. I'm like, there's no way. I bought this with $500. I just made 30. That's 60 times the investment, you know? So yeah, second month, no rules applied. Same thing. Made 30, 35, 33K withdrawal again. I don't know. Then I get an email. I'm like, yeah, you can only risk 1%. That's fine. I was risking 1%. But your leverage was reduced to 1.10 on metals. It's usually 1.30, 1 to 30. Actually, at the time, I was doing 1 to 100 on metals. I only trade gold, so metals is important for me. And then it was reduced to 1 to 10, and I was like, yeah, that messes with my strategy. So this might be a question that you might ask me later. What these prop firms do is they study your strategy and they find a way to cut the way you make money. So yeah, they will study you and they will find a way to limit the way you profit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of prop firms out there. I know adding additional rules, soft breaches, lot size restrictions, even just taking away their account. They just decide that, they don't want to do business with you anymore. Kind of a bit like a casino. Because I know that a lot of prop firms do this whole A book, B book. So they decide if they're going to book someone to live market or they're going to keep them on demo and then just pay them out from the excess money they make off assessments. So there's whole different mechanics of how the businesses work. And some of them, they were built on getting money off the assessments and not people actually making money from trading. So
exactly.
So, I've been on both ends of the stick on a private prop firm, and then I've been on the ones where it's quite open, like FTMOs and whatnot. So I definitely see both sides. So obviously, you've gone through quite a lot, and I can imagine there's a lot of emotions going through your head, especially euphoria on the winning side. And then do you still deal with things like FOMO?
No. Like the thing about FOMO is FOMO happens because you're in a stage of your life where, if you don't feel the need to make more money, FOMO will not happen, because FOMO only happens when you think about like, I'm missing an opportunity. I need this opportunity to make money. This is a big opportunity to, raise my income, raise my profits. When you're okay, when you're comfortable with the money you have, you understand that the opportunities are endless. Like in life, in anything, like, well, there's some times where, an opportunity only comes by once, but in terms of like trading, opportunities are endless.
Mm-hmm.
FOMO for me, it's like, it doesn't exist. I don't believe in FOMO.
And in terms of like a losing streak, emotionally, how do you feel after having quite a large losing streak?
Actually, don't have a lot of losing streaks. I just, I don't know. I don't like, I don't count my like streaks in terms of like losing. If I lose once or twice, that's usually like the max. Like I don't have like big losing streaks.
Right. So you have the emotional consciousness to stop yourself in the moment and be like, okay, I've taken 2 losses, I'm going to walk away.
Yeah. But it doesn't like, I don't have like big, losing streaks. I'm not saying I win everything. The reason why I don't take losing streaks is that as soon as I enter a trade, my strategy doesn't allow me to lose a lot because my stop losses are so people like they move their stop loss to break even like after a trade moves a longer percentage pips there, it moves up a lot in pips or moves down a lot of pips. What I do is I put it in a little bit above break even shortly after I enter the trade and I'm in profit.
I
So I
see.
protect my positions a lot, which allows me to avoid losses.
So aggressive protection, basically.
Aggressive protection, yeah.
And would you say that helps with the psychological side of losing then? So you don't feel the pain?
Yeah, it definitely helps with the fact that, it's all about, like I said before, it's all about capital preservation. The less money you lose, the more mentally stable you're going to be.
Right. And obviously everyone's trading strategy is different, but on the days where the market isn't really giving you a trading setup, what's going through your head? What do you do?
Like, I can easily find opportunities with the strategy that I use. So it doesn't happen a lot. There's not like many days where there's no trade for me. I can easily even if a pair is, in this case, gold, because I don't usually trade anything else besides GBP.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's ranging, I can probably find a trade.
Right. Okay.
Because
Interesting.
my strategy allows me to trade, multiple types of graphic. If it's ranging, if it's a breakout, I can probably fit in something.
Okay. So as a day trader, I mean, have you ever experienced anything like self-doubt? Because obviously taking trades every day, you must question some of your decisions. How do you work around something like that?
That's a good question. I'm very confident on the setups that I take, and again because I'm so comfortable with my losses because of the way I manage my risk. I'm so comfortable with losing that like 90% of the times I don't worry about taking a trade. I'm still gonna be stressing a little bit, even if I lose $10, 10 euros, or whatever. Like even if I lose one, if I see red, I'm stressing. I'm okay with my losses, but I'm stressing. I don't want to lose money. I don't want to see my bank account going. I need to step up every day. We need to be better, whatever, if it's trading, whatever. So if I see red, I'm going against my beliefs. So I do stress a little bit, but I'm okay with the losses. If it hits a loss, it's whatever. But I don't like seeing red.
How do you manage stress? Like obviously everyone deals with stress differently, but how do you manage, like if you catch yourself in the moment where you're feeling quite stressed, overwhelmed, maybe the trade didn't go the way you wanted to, but there's another trade around the corner. How do you deal with that? Like, is there something you do to reset?
Yeah, there's nothing yeah, I don't meditate. I don't, I try to eat healthy, go for runs or anything, but I'm not I'm not a Buddha, I don't do these all this stuff that people say they do. I take a cold shower. I actually take cold showers, but not for I take cold showers to wake up. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna meditate before trading or write a journal or back test for an hour. No, it's very simple. Like you sit in the chair, you look at the charts and you trade. You don't need all these extra stuff that people think that they need, like yoga and meditation. Like you just need to be you need to understand your body, your mind, and then you need to some people need to play PlayStation to feel calmer. Some people need to read. Some people need to go for walks. Me specifically, I'm just like a normal, not a normal person, but there's nothing magical that I do that gives me an advantage over other people. I'm a normal person, I do normal stuff. I chill with my family. I go walk with my dog. I'm with my girlfriend, I do normal stuff. Like there's nothing there's no magical potion for being calmer,
Absolutely not. I fully agree with you. I believe everyone is different. Everyone's routine should be different and it should work upon their strengths. Some people like to change up. Some people like it strict. Everyone's different. So for some of the listeners out there, because you're someone who actually comes across very disciplined, and I'm sure you definitely are, with traders out here who are struggling with revenge trading, what sort of advice could you give them to help them deal with that? Because I think coming from you, somebody who limits their trades and has good risk management, I think you would give them very good advice.
Yeah, revenge trading is a tough one. And revenge trading is very related to gambling as well. When you go to the casino, you lose 10 euros or $10. You want to make more, you want to make the money back. The thing with revenge trading is that you're not thinking clearly. This is, regardless of what I say, people are still going to do revenge trading, But it's something that needs to be controlled because that's how gamblers are created. When you start losing money and you start wanting the money back, once you lose your money one time and you manage to tell your brain that you can get it back, and you actually do, if it ever happens, like if you lose 10 euros, let's actually make big money, because 10 euros, not a lot for, so let's say somebody loses 1,000 and they manage to make 1,200 after, and they made those 200 and they still made 200. That dopamine rush will shape your brain forever. You will always believe that you will be able to make your money back, and that's how gamblers are created. So you need to be aware of this. You need to be aware of this. I can't be like, I'm not a psychologist. I can't be, offering psychological advice. But it's, if you realize this, if you realize it's all about like the way your brain works, and how dopamine works and how rewarding is, some negative things in life are very rewarding for your brain, but in the long term they're not rewarding at all. They're actually the opposite. So if you manage to understand this on like a deeper level, you will manage to control your emotions, and therefore eventually control revenge trade. For my first 6 years, or until I was 21, even the first time I had to control myself for revenge trading was when I lost the 75K. That was a tough loss, and I was like, it doesn't I had to, I had to look in the mirror. I had to tell myself, like I'm talking to a friend, what did you learn these past 6 years? We've made money, we were controlling ourselves. It's all about, being mentally stable, relax. Like, you're your best friend, man. Like, people will never understand your deeper, nobody will understand your inner demons. This is something that people don't do in life in general. Like, we have a hard time evaluating our actions and understanding like what we do wrong and the morality of our actions. So it's very important that you are able to, this is something that we should train before we even start trading. Like, we should be able to look in the mirror, look at the person that's in front of you, and understanding deeply what you're doing wrong. How do you change it? Because when we don't understand what we're doing wrong, we will never understand how to get better. Well, there's many advices one can give. There's a lot of advices, but trading is 90% psychology. So, and people know this. People know this, but they don't accept it. They don't internalize it. So if you know what trading is about, you know what to work on. So when you need to work on something, you need to understand what you need to work on, what needs to be done, what needs to get better. So if you know that trading is about psychology, you need to work on your psychology. For you to be, you're never going to be successful in trading until you understand that not losing money is more important than making money, until you understand that you can't risk 100% of your money. There's a lot of psychological tips that need to be understood in order to be a great trader. So definitely, like, psychology is the biggest.
So what's your initial dialogue like during a losing trade versus a winning trade?
My initial dialogue, like what goes through my mind.
Absolutely, yeah. So what's your thought process like during a winning trade, and what's your thought process like during a losing trade?
So during a winning trade, it's basically the same, to be honest. Like, it's like I was saying. Like, if I see red, I'm stressing, but I'm not stressing because I'm gonna lose an amount of money that I want to lose. I'm stressing because I've put in my mind that if I lose money, I'm lowering my level. I'm becoming worse than I was yesterday. So I hate seeing red, and this hate that I have of seeing red will make me do anything to see green. Will make me do anything to make money, and that mentality helps me a lot to make more money. So when I see winning trades, I'm happy. This is like the basic reply to your question. I'm happy when I see winning, and when I see red, I'm stressing, but I'm controlled.
I guess these are the things that drive you in doing cold showers and doing the things that people don't like doing. So pushing yourself out your comfort zone because you know those things work, get you into a good flow zone. And then by doing those things, it's enabling you to get better results. Would that be right to say?
Yeah, I started cold showers because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone, and I was like, I need to feel pain to overcome the pain by feel something. But I now take cold showers because I like taking cold showers. It wakes me up. It's one recommendation that I actually should tell people. It helps. Like, cold showers help. Like, it's not like it's not gonna make you like trade. Like, it wakes you up. It makes you like feel recomposed.
So kind of talking about those processes, mental rituals, routines, I understand they keep you grounded, especially managing the private funds, because I know you also manage other people's money, right?
Yeah, most of my family's money. Yeah.
Right. So obviously that adds additional pressure because not all traders are capable of, I mean, trading your own money is one thing, but trading other people's money, how do you manage that? How do you kind of approach that? Because there's probably a lot of traders out there who probably in the same position. They're getting money from family. They want to manage it. What advice would you really give them in that aspect?
Yeah, managing money from other people, I would not recommend, because it's a different type of psychological level. Like, it's a whole different beast. Managing your own money or managing somebody else's money. Like, if you are going that path, you need to be experienced. You need to be very experienced. You need to know whose money you're managing. because there's some crazy people out there. So that's definitely something I recommend staying out of, managing friends' money, managing somebody's money. So yeah, I would keep that to like people that do that for a living. So yeah.
Right. And kind of on the trading side of things, like when you feel like you might be starting to tilt or you might be kind of stepping into some sort of negative emotion, do you do anything in particular to prevent yourself from making emotional decisions?
No, I still go through the trading. It happens a lot, in life, not only in trading, you're going to go through negative situations, and you need to be mentally strong enough to understand that things need to be done. Like we're men, we're grown ass men. So like we have responsibilities. It doesn't matter like the most extreme cases, something severe happens in your family, things need to be done. Of course it affects you mentally. Of course it has a small weight on your decisions, but you need to get over it. Yeah, you need to, go through it.
Yes. And how do you maintain the confidence during drawdown? Like everyone's system goes through drawdown at a period. Now, I know, sometimes the market can be extremely volatile. It can be quite stable. It can be very corrective. How do you deal with that? Like emotionally, mentally, do you take a step back? Is there anything you do?
Just no, just being comfortable, just accepting the idea, the previous idea, the losses that you were gonna take. If you're okay with the losses, there's no problem in being in drawdown. You'll be completely okay with drawdown.
Right, right. And what about
If
ego?
people aren't okay with drawdown, is because they're risking more than they should.
Right. So over risking would usually be the reason, which is feeding that emotional side, dictating them to overtrade and basically put themselves
100%.
in a problem. So obviously everyone's ego is different. I'm sure, like most guys I've spoken to, we have a big ego when we come into trading. We expect to be making so much money. We get fooled by the marketing aspect of these fast cars, loads of money, buying planes, traveling. Now, did that ever affect you? And how did you learn to train your ego so it could benefit you in trading?
Yeah, I actually have a huge ego. I think I'm the best trader. In my opinion, I haven't met a better trader than me. So that's my my egocentrical part in terms of trading. I consider myself humble in life in general. I help people with whatever. I'm a confident man. But in terms of trading, I think I actually think I'm one of the best traders in the world. Like I would put myself top 30, but in terms of like buying luxurious things, I was never like that type of person. I thought about, when I was 21, 22, I thought about, like, doing the things that we talked in the beginning, like going to Dubai, rent a car, start marketing, get money from the brokers, CPAs, all that. And I really thought about it. Like I was one step closer to doing it. But then I realized that that's not who I am. That's going a little bit against, what I want to do. I don't want to go down that path because look, you grab 200, you grab 2K, you buy a flight to Dubai, you rent a Lamborghini for $500, you post like 30 pictures, 30 different outfits, you rent a private jet, whatever. It's small money, like it's 2K, whatever. And then people are gonna think they like TJR, like you're the best trader. It doesn't work like that. Like where's the prop firm results? Where's the live trading withdrawals? Where's all that shit? Like.
Right. So there's going to be a lot of people listening to this podcast who don't know anything about that. So what sort of advice could you give them to avoid falling into that trap of following the wrong people or maybe even looking for mentorship in the wrong direction? How can they avoid that?
Yeah, it's very hard to give advice in that regard because 95% of these traders online, they're scams. They're making money out of CPAs and IBs and affiliate programs. It's very easy to make money. It's very easy to make money when you start showing your lifestyle on Instagram and TikTok. I promise you. Even if it's like affiliate marketing, promotions with casinos, once you get a following and you start posting lifestyle, it's very easy to make money. And I'm talking about like big money, probably more than I would make in trading, like 30K a month, 40K a month. I know people making like 50K a month just promoting casinos, so it's for you to find a mentor. You need to like look through their trading history, like what do they post. You have to also be careful now with the AI generation, like you have to be careful like who's photoshopping the results, who's photoshopping, like so to find a trader, a mentor. I don't know what advice I would give. Just like do not fall for the lifestyle. If you see somebody posting Ferraris or whatever, back off. And in terms of like, just try to connect with the person, just try to connect with the mentor, try to find someone that you identify with, and trust her instincts. If he's a good person, if she's a good person. And it's a very hard advice that to find an advice for that type of question.
Absolutely. And look, Tiago, look, you've definitely come from You've experienced it all, really. You've come from the side of trading, losing money, to building consistency, to being semi-consistent, and now being at a level of being consistent. And you had to go for a lot of psychological changes, self-development. For a lot of the newer traders listening to this podcast today, what's the most important psychological skill you believe they may need coming into trading that they need to start working on side by side with the technicals?
We kind of went over this question, but I would add to the question, is understanding that, risk management, probably the psychological part of like, accepting losing money, accepting that the money you're going to lose is a business expense. Nobody's going to come into trading and just make money. You need to lose. It's a train. It's a roller coaster. You're going to lose and make. The point is that if you keep losing and making, the graphic goes up. Your account goes up. So it's okay to lose and make, as long as the structure of the market structure of your bank account goes bullish. So just accept losses as a business expense.
And do you change your risk management strategy when you're in drawdown?
No, because I accept the losses that I take.
Right.
My ideas only change. So I said my previous idea before I entered the trade. The only thing that might change, the only thing that always changes is the stop loss to break even once I'm in profit. And very occasionally, I might close a trade sooner than expected due to market movimentation.
Yeah, because anything can happen, right? Data can change. So obviously, I know there's a lot of traders out there who, and I don't know if you agree with this, but they may size up their position as they go in drawdown, or they may size down. Would you have a preference on that, or would you just say stick with the same risk throughout the process?
Yeah, no, I actually sometimes I agree with adding to your position. Although most of the times people do that, it's trying to what was the thing we talked about earlier about losing money and making the money back?
Revenge trading.
Revenge trading, exactly. Most people that add to the positions when they're losing, it's mostly revenge trading. They see their account going down and they want to make it back, and they add positions. What I do, I do add sometimes, but not in the revenge trading term. But because I do believe that my sizing could be a little bit bigger, since so like if I have a bias that I'm buying, if I always think that the price is going to go up, a lower price than the one I bought it for would be considered for me like I'm adding to the position at a lower level, because I'm still bullish. So it's not that like I'm still okay with the risk that I'm adding, but it's a calculated risk,
Okay, absolutely.
So it's not like I'm adding to make the money back ASAP.
And do you trade all sessions, trading sessions?
Yeah, I look at the graphics like 20 hours a day.
Okay.
I'm a maniac. A lot of traders will tell you, yeah, you only need 1 hour a day. Look, everyone is different. Like, I need to be inside the graphics. Like, I need to study. Like, I don't care if I sleep 3. It's my job. I don't care if I sleep 2 hours. It might work. It works for me. If for other professional traders, it doesn't work for them. They will tell you, no, you only need 1 hour a day. Everyone's different. I like to be specialized in what I do. So for me to be professional, I need to be inside the graphics. Like if everyone tells you otherwise, it's not true. Yeah, I'm only going to be able to read a graphic if I look at it, like if I study it like we study in school. Like for you to study in school, medical, and if you're a doctor, you're going to be studying 10 hours a day. So why would I not look at the graphic 10 hours a day?
So look, Tiago, you've probably seen a lot of price action across the 12 years of being in the game. Would you say there's a very common psychological trap that you see a lot of experienced and beginner traders come into?
Yeah, liquidity sweeps. People aren't ready for price. Look, nobody knows what's going to happen, right? Even the most experienced traders in the world, they might be caught in crazy moves, crazy volatility that they weren't expecting. So you always have to be ready for whatever the market gives you, because nobody knows what's going to happen. Like, right, you might be 90% sure, even if you have an A+ setup, you'll never be 100% sure, because you don't know what's going to happen. So you can't be 100% sure of something that you don't know that will happen. So you always have to be prepared for crazy movement, especially in gold.
Right. So a lot of traders are losing money on what they can't control. Talking about the things that they can control in terms of your typical trading day, how do you mentally prepare yourself before the markets open? Is there any sort of processes you do in terms of preparing the charts, taking screenshots, documenting them? Is there anything that you do?
I just have the chart open. I have one screen, one monitor. Sometimes I don't use my phone, and that's it. I'm ready for war.
Interesting. And has it always been like that, or was it more complicated before?
No, in the beginning, I was brainwashed by all these streamers and YouTubers and influencers. It's like I said in the beginning, you need to meditate, you need to write a journal, you need to do all of this, and this brainwashes people. Like, people need, for you to be a good trader, you need to do all these rituals, these have 5 monitors. No, you really don't. Like, you just need to spend time understanding the graphic that you're trading. You need to stick to one asset that you want to make money with. You don't need 20 assets. You don't need 20 instruments. Stick to one. Understand how it moves. Understand how you protect your money, and it's very simple. It's a psychological battle that takes years to overcome, but at the end you'll realize how simple it is.
Right. And has your ability to handle those stresses in the markets on a day-to-day basis? Because I know obviously they can really set you off emotionally. You could take a loss and you're like, okay, let me re-enter. You caught the re-entry and it still took another loss. And then perhaps maybe some traders would step away, but for yourself, you're quite resilient in the aspect that you'll wait patiently for the next opportunity, and then you'll be happy to take another opportunity because you're not oversizing your positions. That pressure that comes from the stress of maybe taking 2 losses on that particular day. How do you handle that? How do you keep yourself mentally strong to be like, okay, no, we can chill. We're still here.
Pressure? What pressure? Have you seen that? No, there's no pressure. It's been way too many years. There's no pressure.
Okay.
It is what it is. I accept whatever faith my trading takes.
Because obviously for a lot of traders who haven't received payouts, right? There's traders out there who have made payouts. So, let's say you've taken, like, let's just use a quite small figure, like 50K from the markets. You've made that payout.
Small figure.
You know,
Small
you,
figure.
you can walk away with that, and you could take 2, 3 small losses because you're good, right? But there's a lot of traders out there who are working a day job. They're stacking money in the background, doing an assessment, and then they're trying to make money, but they're struggling. They're doing the break-even dance. That emotional pressure is hitting them, right? Have you been in that position, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah, now there's different levels for, in terms of psychology. It's obviously different when you have a big account or when you have responsibilities and you have a small account. You're 30 years old, 40 years old, you have $500 to spend. You have family to feed. You can't be spending $500. So obviously the pressure raises, the stress raises for that person. So all my advice is here. It's what I do because I'm in the position that I am. So it's obviously different for everyone. That's why, like, I recommend for people, that have less money, the right path is the prop firms. You need to, because if you're gonna you can risk 500, you can make 5,000, but you're risking the whole account. You're going all in every trade, and you can go all in when you need the $500, because you need money. So definitely the way to reduce that pressure is, instead of creating a live account when you don't have a lot of money and you have responsibilities, monetary responsibilities in your life, you need to go the prop firm way. You need to go the prop firm way.
Right. So you're building a community, funded trader blueprint. What's the role of the community, and how does it help traders who are coming into this space maintain their psychological edge as well as their technical?
Yeah, I'm still trying to create the best services possible that I have, but mostly, like, I'm trying to create a mentorship model. I'm creating the Discord where we're gonna have everyone sharing their ideas. I just wanna my main goal here is to create a community that can help each other. Like, I actually want to build something different. I don't know how yet, but I will get there. It's a process. I will get there. I wanna have solid, responsible people. I don't want to have kids, like, doing stupid shit in the community. Like, I want to have people with inputs. I want to have people helping each other. I want to be there when they need me. So I want to be a mentor, but I want to be more than a mentor. It's like I said, I want to create, like, my army of, like I want to raise people. Like, I want to see, like,
Of course,
people,
yeah.
like, going from level 1 to level 10. Like,
Absolutely. It's an amazing feeling when you've mentored someone and you've seen them break through from their day job to going full-time trading, reaching their first payout, all these little milestone goals and then you meet them in real life, and it's just the energy
yeah,
that,
exactly.
it's that real connections. I think, as you can probably relate, trading is a lonely game. Was there a
It
lot of
is.
sacrifices that you had to make in your journey in order for you to become successful? Because I know a lot of people have to cut people out their lives. They need to stop going out as much. Did you have to do any of that?
Yeah, man. Especially with girlfriends. Like, in the first 4 or 5 years, I was just losing money. The first 5, 6 years, I was just losing money, and, like, I didn't have any money to, like, take my girls out or whatever, or. So it was a tough time. In terms of, like, friendships, like, nobody like really understood what I do, right? Everybody thought I was a scammer, like he's trading, like he's a scammer. So I really like, I lost a lot of people because they either thought I was scamming or because I was broke at the time, you know. So but it never really affected me because I really don't care. Like, you know, I have a deep understanding of people. Like, you know, I can read people very well. I understand why people do what they do. So I'm okay with, like, you know, if people wanna, if I have people by my side, it's fine. If the real ones, I know, like I know again, this sounds very cliche, but if I need people, I have people by my side. You know, the people that are not by my side, I don't need them by my side. The girls, you know, girls are whatever. You know, I have a girlfriend now. I'm happy now. So girls are just a distraction in a man's life. So yeah, you know, it's about keep moving forward by yourself. At the end, you only have yourself. Even family, sometimes it's there's disappointing relationships in family, but we have to keep going. We're men. So
Right,
yeah.
right. Now, I don't want to turn this into a relationship making podcast, but there's a lot of traders out there who are dabbling with relationships while trading. Now, would you say it definitely helps? Because you did mention distraction there. So can it add pressure to a trader having a girlfriend?
Damn, you're gonna make me go Andrew Tate on this podcast. No, I don't. It's, you know, it's tough. You know, there's women out there that are very good at helping a man stay up, and there's also very draining women. It depends on the relationships. It depends on, sometimes no.
Right, right. And how do you find balance as a trader and somebody who is in a relationship?
Well, for me, I've never found balance. I would just break up with them because I was going broke and they wouldn't accept it. So you know, we came together. Someone as young, if you're a young kid, like 18, 19, if you're starting out and you're in a relationship, you need to understand that it's very important to be with a woman that allows you to be at peace, because if you're not at peace, you're going to bring that negative emotion into trading, and that's going to, you know, affect you somehow in how you take trades. So a woman is very important in a man's life and in a man's peaceful environment. You need to be with a good woman, a woman that pushes you up to be the best version of yourself.
Right, right. So was there any ladies out there who didn't believe in your trading journey?
Yeah, all of them.
If you
All
had
of them.
if you had a message for these ladies, what would you say?
I don't. It's okay, man. Like I don't have a message for them. You know, people in the past, they stay in the past.
Of course, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I
We don't
mean,
hold grudges.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. So look, you mentioned that you wanted to show people trading isn't easy, right? The paths for everyone's financial situation is different. Could you expand a little bit on that? Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of traders who are going to eventually join your community and also come across this video and be looking for a community. Different financial circumstances, different psychologies, right? Coming into a community, is there anything that they need to have, be mentally prepared for? Is there anything, any sort of advice you'd give them?
Coming into my community,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. I only want serious people. Like, I don't want people, you know, that are gonna be. I need value. Like, I need value because I don't want the community to be dependent on me. I'm just there to provide a helping hand. I want the community to be dependent on the community. Like, I'm gonna be a leader. I'm gonna show the way. And I'm gonna pull them with me, but they need to pull each other. Like, I want a team. Like, I want to, you know, it's like I'm playing basketball. I'm the captain. You know, I need them to be there for each other. I don't want people that are going to come in the community and not talk. I don't want people that are not going to come in the community and not watch the lives. I
right,
want
right.
to build something that, you know, I want something different, man. Like, I want like the I want a team.
Right, absolutely. And look, there's going to be a lot of people like, okay, that sounds interesting, but how do I know I can trust this guy? How do I know that his certificates and his success is real? How do I believe that? How do you build that trust?
Well, the success is the payouts aren't like, you know, you can look at my prop firms accounts and you will see the leaderboards. I'm all over there, so I can't fake the results, you know. So in terms of trading success, you can find that online, you know. But in terms of like as a person, there's nothing I can say to. I don't want to say anything to change people's minds. I want people to see me for who I am, and I want people to follow their gut. If they believe me, perfect. We move forward. If they don't believe me, I don't want them anyways, because I want to be with someone that fully trusts me, fully believes in me. You know, my whole life I've experienced people that didn't believe in me, so you know I don't need those people. So yeah, whoever is okay with me, I'm okay with them.
Absolutely. So if there was one thing that I could really ask you about your background, right? Because coming from the basketball background, playing at an elite level, being under pressure, was there any mental similarities that you found now, 12 years down the line, from how you performed at an elite level in basketball and how you perform at an elite level as a trader?
Yeah, basketball was definitely harder because you had eyes on you. You had the pressure of being successful because people are depending on you. In trading, nobody cares if I'm successful, only me. There's so that's why I say like there's not a lot of pressure for me in trading because I'm set with in terms of money. I don't need to if I lose, I'll lose. If I make money, it doesn't affect my life, you know. But with basketball, if I had a bad performance, I don't play basketball anymore. But if I had a bad performance, there were a lot of people dependent on me. There was my team, there was my coaches, there was the fans, you know. So it's different. It's harder with basketball.
So the main reason why I asked that is because for a lot of the traders here, they're probably dealing with something like over trading or being very trigger happy. Because in basketball, you can take action, right? You can just build up the strength like Michael Jordan. You can go straight out into the game. You can just literally completely annihilate the game. But in trading, some days, every day is going to be different. Price action is going to be different across the board. How do you deal with that? And how would you advise a trader out there who is struggling with being a little bit more patient when they feel like they want to be aggressive? For example, they might have taken a loss today and they want to chase that money back. They're now so close to just pressing the trigger. How would you stop somebody from doing that?
It depends on the level of finances of that person. Like if you have money that you can put aside and invest, you are going to be calmer in general and accept your losses better. But if you're struggling with money, that's going to be there's going to be way more pressure and it's going to be harder for you to control your emotions. So the main advice is that if you have low money, you need to buy a prop firm. And I'm not affiliated with any prop firm, so you know it doesn't matter. And if you have more money to spend, you need to reduce the money that you're the lesser you invest, the better, because you need to make money, but again, you need to avoid losses. So just make sure you invest an amount that you're comfortable with losing, so you can keep your emotions in check.
Right. And also, look, you coming from a elite level basketball player, you must have been a very popular person growing up. Now, going into trading, how did you prepare yourself for the loneliness and the isolation? Because they are two different sort of atmospheres, right? The environment completely changes. You go from a place where the crowd is roaring, you're playing the game, everybody's cheering you on, to a place where you're sitting in isolation in a room. How did you kind of prepare yourself and deal with that?
Yeah, I've always been like a low key person, you know. I like my space. I like to be, under the radar. That's why I don't have a personal Instagram. I don't have a personal TikTok. Like the only social media I have is LinkedIn. So yeah, I've always been okay with, being well in an era of my life, in a timeline of my life where I was playing basketball, I had to be, out there. I didn't have a choice. But as soon as I went my other path in life, I was just completely okay with, being low key, being on my own. I'm actually like a type of person that if I had to buy like a house in the woods, I would like live by myself there. Like I'm okay with peace, Like
Yeah, of course.
I don't like. There's a lot of people in the world that are evil. A lot of people in the world are evil. So I like to stay away from people in general, because you never know what people's intentions are. So yeah, I've always been okay with being by myself.
Okay. Yeah, because basketball is a full team sport. So trading solo, that's a tough game, and you did it. So, the mental shift must have been quite unreal. And I'm sure that the shifts that you had to make as a person who came from being a team player on an elite level to then becoming an elite level solo trader, that's a very, very good mindset and a strong one at it. So look, before we wrap this up, obviously, how can the listeners find you? YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, your handles?
Yeah, so I just created socials to start this new project of helping people see how it goes. So yeah, on Discord, if you can link the handles below, you can find me on Discord, Instagram, LinkedIn is where I post all my results mainly. So yeah, I also might start doing lives on YouTube. I will see, depending on how many people I get on the community on Discord, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, YouTube, Instagram, Discord, and LinkedIn are the main socials I use. They can contact me whenever, wherever. Yeah.
And you're using the handle at FTB_Tiago, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Just because, with all these scammers and things out there, we don't want them getting approached by the wrong Tiago. So
Yeah.
kind of finalizing it with my last two questions. First one is, what aspects of your trading psychology are you still working on right now?
It's a good question. I don't know. There's nothing that comes to mind that I'm currently working on. It's been way too many. It's been way too many years. We're always growing and learning. I'm not saying like I'm the full product, but there's nothing that I'm focused on working on right now.
Right. Okay. Okay. And this kind of ties into everything we were talking about. But if there was one psychological truth that took you way too long to learn in trading, what would it be?
Again, I don't think this relates to psychological. It's all capital preservation is always more important than making money. Although it's more rewarding to make money than not losing a lot of money. I don't know if this makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. No, it does. Yeah. So capital preservation is more important than losing money. So not taking a trade is equally as valuable as taking a trade.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. We had the pleasure of having Tiago on here. Hopefully we'll have him in the future, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.